Hello, fellow B-listers.
Hi, welcome to the B Critics Podcast. We're your hosts, Liz and Court.
And this is our season pilot for season 2.
Woo woo! And this
Woo.
season, we are talking about the Twilight Saga.
Yes. And this is truly like the perfect follow-up to our first season because we both absolutely love this
Obsessed.
series.
Liz, I think this was your dream.
Yeah. Um this series like really embodies who we are. We grew up with the Twilight series. Both of us like these movies. I wouldn't say that these are like our taste in movies, but like
Okay,
kind
Liz,
of.
please go. If you need confirmation, please go to Liz's Letterboxd. Just throwing that out there. These are her kind of movies.
Yeah, my letterbox is at Liz by the Bay. Easy to find.
Yes, and I'm sport_court.
Woo.
Yeah, follow us.
In true Twihard fashion, we have to start this out with the age-old debate: Team Edward or Team Jacob?
Yeah. So Liz and I are divided on this one. We already know. I'm Team Edward.
I'm Team Jacob.
And I feel like I don't even need explanation for this because I could just say like Robert Pattinson and like that's all I need.
Yeah, they're both fantastic characters. First of all, let me just say that. Love them both.
They are. You're right. You're right.
Reading the books um I think gave a little bit different idea of the two of them versus watching the movies, but
Yeah.
still Team Jacob. Yeah.
I loved Edward when I was reading the books. Like I was definitely like I got into Bella's shoes and like I couldn't not love him. I was like, I'm sorry, Jacob, but you have literally no chance. Like you're off. You're like great also, but like Edward. Like that's like how I felt. And I feel like that's how Bella felt. Um
Uh-huh.
and that's still how I feel like to this day watching the movies.
I'm just not into moody boys. I
They're
can handle a
both
boy with an
moody.
attitude, but
You're
I
gonna
can't
sit
handle the
here
moody.
you're gonna sit here and tell me that Jacob wasn't moody.
No, he's not moody. He has an attitude. There's a difference.
He's immature.
They're both immature. And Edward has less of an excuse to be immature because he's over 100 years old.
Yeah, looking back, like watching these movies again and like thinking back to the books, like Edward's like pretty toxic. Like he's
Mm,
kind of like a controlling older boyfriend. Like
yeah.
the age gap is not well.
Significant.
Yeah, it's very significant.
It's like
Like,
100 years.
yeah, like I've started dating guys that are like a little bit older than me, and they're like, we're talking in the like 5 to 8 year age gap range, and like that feels like significant to me. Like I'm like, oh my god, like they're sending a bunch of emojis, texting, and I'm like, with Edward, like he's like, oh. I'm just old fashioned in the sense we can't have sex before marriage. And I'm like, this is too much. This is too much.
Yeah, I just couldn't get past the moody. Also, just like visually in my head, like I always thought that Jacob was going to be the hotter of the two and kind of was.
That's interesting because I always thought that Edward was like when I was reading the books.
Well,
So,
so here's my thought process. Bella was very obviously in love with Edward,
okay.
but there had to be some reason why she was like, let me just like hold on to this Jacob guy, like just in case. So he had to have been like wildly attractive.
I wish in like I like Taylor Lautner as the casting for this,
Yeah.
obviously, but I wish that Jacob had been like actually 6'7", like he was in the books. Like that would have like
Just a
brought
Goliath
his
of a man.
yeah, like that would have brought his like attraction level like up a whole nother level. Because I
Uh,
feel like in terms of traditional types, like Edward, Robert Pattinson is more my type, but like Taylor Lautner is like undeniably like an objectively attractive human. And if he had been also exceptionally tall, like he was supposed to be in the books,
mhm.
then that would have been good too. But It's kind of like the whole, like, Daniel Radcliffe dilemma, like, Daniel Radcliffe is, like, 5'5", and Harry Potter is supposed to be, like, 6'2", and it's like, well, what can you
Harry
do?
Potter's supposed to be 6'2".
Yeah, exactly,
What?
and nobody even knows
He's like a
because
little
the
man
cast.
child.
Yeah, I know, he's not supposed to be that way, and it's just wrong.
Well, okay, to be fair though, he was cast when he was still growing. Like, what are they gonna do? Switch him out midway through? No.
No, they can't, it's too late, but, um, yeah. Yeah, unfortunate. But, like you said, they're both great characters. We like Team
Yes.
Jacob people, we like Team Edward people.
Mhm.
We're gonna discuss that at length in this season. It's a fun topic, everybody likes it.
Yeah, everybody loves a debate.
Mhm.
All right, so now I wanna talk about our experience with the whole saga. So,
Oh,
not
yeah.
just the movies, but, like, let's start with the books. Like, what was our experience reading the books and then, like, traveling through time? How did our experience change when the movies came out?
I'm trying to remember, like, exactly what year these books came out.
It was the early 2000s.
Yeah, I know. Okay, Twilight came out in 2005. So, yeah, that
Mhm.
tracks. Because I was gonna say I was 10 years old when I first read it. I would have been 9. So I don't know
Yeah,
if
this
I
was, like,
read it
middle
ex
school.
Yeah. Um, I was obsessed with the
Mhm.
Twilight books, like,
Yeah.
unhealthily obsessed. Like, my sister will tell you there was, like, a time in middle school when I didn't leave my room, like, the whole summer. Like, I was just, like, in there, like, reading these books, like, over and over and over again.
Mhm.
Like, every
Yeah.
time I go to open up the first book, like, I feel like I have the first page, like, in just
Memorized.
in my head forever.
Yeah. I I have, like, a very distinct memory of reading Breaking Dawn Part 2
Okay.
on the bus on the way to the junior beta convention in Florida.
How old are you?
Very distinct. This is 8th grade, so, like, 14?
Okay. Wow, a perfect age for reading it.
Yeah. 13, 14, somewhere around there. But anywho, I, just like you, remember just being, like, so enthralled, like, very into the story, thought the characters were my real friends, just, like, all about the whole
Yeah.
thing. Just, like, being in it. Like, if I could live in the Twilight universe, like, I probably would still be there.
If you were in middle school when we were, so between the years of, like, 2005-ish to, like, 2010, like, you have literally no excuse for not being obsessed with these books. Like, I just feel like everybody was, even if
Yeah.
you pretended like you weren't, like, you were.
Also, like, it's just, like, a turning point. Like, when Twilight came out, like, there weren't really books like that made for young adults at the time.
No,
It
yeah.
was like you could read Junie B. Jones or you could read, like, The Boxcar Kids, and those were, like, the young adult novels, and then this one came out, and it was, like, a real romance, but, like, an appropriate romance for people our age.
I feel like this, like, series was kind of like a whole era. Like, it was, like, right
Yeah.
after Harry Potter had been big, and then there was Twilight, and then, like, all these other series were coming out too, like Vampire
Mhm.
Diaries and Hunger Games,
City of
and
Bones.
yeah, those were super big, and there were, like, a ton of
Mhm.
other ones, and, like, I feel like Twilight was, like, the one that everybody knew and made fun of, and, um
It was definitely my introduction into the world of, like, fantasy.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, because after Twilight, I read, like, all of those books. I never read Harry Potter, shame on me, but, like, I
Mhm.
did read all the other fantasy books, and it's because I loved these ones so much. So,
Yeah, the books are amazing. My parents were also, at least my dad too read them, but my mom was, like, also
yeah.
obsessed with them. So we were,
My
like,
mom and I
trading the
read them
books around the
together.
house, like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was like a thing, like, I would be like, "Oh, are you done with, like, New Moon yet? Because, like, I wanna read it." And then, like, we were reading them over and over again. It was crazy. What a weird time.
Yeah, this is the only book series that I've read more than once. Only
Really?
one. Yeah, it'll probably be the only well, there's single books that I've read more than once just because I like them a lot, but, like,
Mhm.
in terms of, like, the whole series, like, I don't think there will ever be another series that I'll read.
Wait, that's
front to
so
back multiple times
interesting.
like this one.
Wow.
I know. It's been a while. I feel like I'm due for a reread.
Yeah, I think you are,
So maybe
especially
I'll do
after
that and
watching all the
report back.
movies.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So then the movies came out.
Yeah.
Those came out, we were in high school, like very much in high school.
Mhm.
For me, that experience was unreal, like watching them for the first time. I went to every midnight premiere, I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. Did you go,
fairly
like,
certain.
dressed as a vampire?
No, but I went like with my like group of girlfriends in high
Oh
school
my
and we
gosh.
would.
I don't remember going to the premieres. Maybe one of them. I think I went, like, opening weekend for every movie for sure.
Mhm.
But I don't think I went to a premiere until the Hunger Games premiere. I definitely went to that premiere.
Yeah, my like group of friends was very much into the midnight premieres. Like
Good, that's
we
so
did
fun.
the Harry Potter premieres. We
What?
did all the premieres. If there was a premiere, we were going to it.
I bet that was just a wild experience of people going to the Twilight premieres, because that's back when they did, like, true midnight premieres,
And it
and
would
they
be like
were
a thing. Like you would go in
Mhm.
and there would be like people there like signing the books and there would be like you don't remember that happening?
Signing the books?
I'm thinking of Lemony Snicket.
Yeah, what?
What was that series? A series of
Series of
unfortunate
unfortunate
events.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lemony Snicket was at our theater signing books.
Oh, okay, you're over here talking about, like, getting your Twilight book signed. I'm like, "What actor or actress did you meet? Because I need to
Lemony Snicket.
know." Oh, yeah, whatever, that old crotchety man. That's how I don't even know if that's what he's actually like, but that's not his real name, right?
No, it's
No,
a pseudonym. I think it's a
it can't
woman
be.
actually. Anyway,
You should
um
know, you've met the woman.
yeah, it was a flash in the bucket. My life, I
Okay.
feel like, just, like, flew by. But I definitely did go to the midnight premieres, and I do remember people being dressed up, and I remember it being, like, a whole, like, affair. It wasn't just, like, you're going to see this movie. There's, like, things going on. There's people, like,
Mhm.
actually like, the movie theater people were, like, dressed up. They had, like, it was, like, a whole thing.
What were your thoughts, like, the first time you watched Twilight? Like, do you remember it, like, living up to your book experience?
I think I was pretty upset about the casting.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think they got it right,
Yeah.
entirely. And I don't
Okay.
know if that was because they had low budget or, like, whatever it was, but I don't think that they, like I don't remember being like, "Oh my god, it was so perfect." I remember really
Mhm.
loving it, but I also remember being, like, super confused, like, this is not, like, who I thought they were
Yeah.
gonna act like, and, like, we all know Bella's, like, a freak in the movies, like, she's a freak, and I don't remember her being a freak in the books, so
Well, she's awkward in the books.
yeah, but not
I
like that.
I've always thought that they casted Bella really well. I've actually always thought that they casted the trio really well, like the main 3, but
Mhm,
everyone else I've always kind of been, like, a little bit skeptical of, especially all the vampires.
mhm.
And I I've always been, like, a super harsh, like, book to movie adaptation critic, and I think
Yeah,
this was one of the first ones, this and Harry Potter, where I was just, like, so enthralled with the world, and then to, like, see it on the big screen and, like, realize, like, oh, it is, like, there's only so much budget, like, there's only so much time in a movie, like, they
mhm.
have to cut stuff out, they have to consolidate things to make it make sense, and, like, it, like, crushing me. So I feel um, like, I was obsessed, but I also, like, I didn't love them. And
Yeah,
yeah, which sounds like kinda similar to your experience too.
mhm. Yeah, I think
Um,
we were just so in love with the books that it was really hard to, like, put it in reality when you
yeah.
have, like and everybody's idea of what, like, Edward and Bella's interactions were and how Jacob wasn't like, everyone's idea of that is, like, different in their brain when they're reading the book. So, they
Mhm.
weren't gonna make everybody happy, and, like, sadly, they didn't choose my rendition of these people, but you know what? It still worked. I still like the movies.
Okay, so what about, like, watching it back now? Have your thoughts changed at all?
Yeah. I think I
Really?
absolutely love the cast now.
Good.
The only one that I would probably change would be Bella, honestly. Well,
Okay.
actually, and Rosalie and Alice.
Okay.
Those are my 3 that I would probably, like, pick different people for,
Okay.
just because the way that Kristen Stewart screams and moves around is just, like, not it for me. Takes me
Yeah.
out of the
Yeah, it's
movie.
I don't think it's it for a lot of people. Um, but I know, like, we're gonna get touch on this in
Mhm.
the season, but, I guess the other person who was considered for Bella's role was Lily Collins, and I, like, am not convinced that she would have done any better of a job, to be
No,
honest.
I think she's too, like, peppy and
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah, I think
Like
that Bella or Kristen Stewart at least, like, captured Bella's mind really well because that's, like,
yeah,
what you live in the books, and I felt at least that come across on screen, which I thought was effective.
I think it was just too much. Like, and I know that this is, like, well ahead of this person's time, but I almost feel like, and she would have to be a lot smaller than she is, but, like, a Bella Hadid would do a really good job with,
I've never seen Bella Hadid act, so I can't really say if that's the case or not.
or like
Um,
a, what's the girl, um, she's a model, but she also acts, and she's in, like, she has, like, a really masculine look.
what is she in?
She's in, the new Selena Gomez series, Only Murders in the Building.
Oh, I don't know, I've never watched that. I actually watched, like, 2 episodes of that show and did not love it.
I'll tell you who it is. Cara Delevingne.
Oh. Yeah, she has the look for it. I
Yeah,
don't
I
really
think she would have
know.
made a good Bella. Honestly,
She
Selena Gomez might have done a good job.
No,
She's a little
Selena
bit too,
Gomez
like, tan, but
is a horrible actress. She is literally the bottom of the barrel in terms of actresses, and you
I
can't deny
love
it.
Selena Gomez.
I am not saying I don't love Selena Gomez.
You didn't like Wizards of Waverly Place?
I did. I loved it. I'm a lover of Selena Gomez. She is a horrible actress and also not a good singer. Like
What has she been in
objectively.
recently that you've seen? Okay, the singing, yes, I will agree with that. But what is she like? What did she act in that you saw recently?
I did watch some episodes of that show.
I think you just didn't like the show.
She's in The Fundamentals of Caring. She's in
I
a
have
couple
not seen that. I don't know.
she's in, like, some other movies too. She's not a good actress.
I love her.
I'm not saying I don't like her. I just
I'm a
don't think
Selena
she would.
stan
Okay.
forever.
She also is not right for this role. No. Um,
Sad.
we're just gonna have to live with Kristen Stewart until 20 years from now when they certainly are going to remake the Twilight series into an HBO, like, mini series or something. Um,
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Maybe when they, like, do Midnight Sun or something.
I think maybe Dakota Fanning would have done really well.
Dakota Fanning's literally already in these movies.
Yeah, but she could have played Bella. All they had to do was dye her hair black or dark brown.
Yeah, she could have been good.
I okay, I didn't even, like, answer the question. Okay. It is changed now that I've seen
Okay.
them as an adult. I watch them fairly regularly,
Mhm.
and I don't think I'm alone. I don't think I'm the
No.
only one that does this.
I watch them probably
At
every couple of
least
years.
once a year, I
Oh,
watch the whole thing.
nice. It's a fun weekend.
Yeah, except I'll do it, like, in a one day.
Well, that's a fun Saturday. That's a lot of movies for one day.
Listen.
Yeah.
What about you?
Um, I I like the movies now. I think, like, it's given me kind of in the same way that you said, like, an appreciation for the whole series in a way that, like, when I was first watching them, I was just, like, so enthralled in the universe, and now I
Mhm.
can watch back and just, like, be nostalgic about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm the same boat. I watch them every few years too. Probably not every year. I don't think I'm, like, quite that obsessed anymore. And, like, this differs from your opinion, but I can watch these movies back and, like, watch them and know that they are also, like, Like, you can't deny they're not good movies. Like, they're
Mhm.
just not. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I don't love them and enjoy watching them. So,
They're fantastic.
okay. So we have a couple things to talk about that came up while we were recording the season that we thought were worth a little bit more discussion. So the first, and you're gonna discover this. I can't remember which episode. I think it's
It's not
the
in an
Twilight.
episode.
Oh,
We
it's
brought
not?
this up, like, when we were planning for one of them. I was like, "Oh, like,
Oh.
this book series is this," and you were like, "Elizabeth, come on."
Okay, so Liz thought that Twilight was a fanfic. And so then we had to have like a long conversation about exactly what a fanfic is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
fan fiction, like someone who's written wrote someone
Roten?
who wrote someone who wrote a, like, either sometimes it's a short story, sometimes it's like a whole novel, sometimes it's a whole series around something else. So they've, like, created, like, a whole other thing.
Yeah. So for example, um the what the heck is the series called? The with all the sex and the
50
Christian
Shades of Grey.
Grey. 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
50 Shades of Grey is a fan fiction of Twilight.
I had no idea.
Yes. It like that series is a fan fiction of Twilight.
That makes
Because
sense then. Dakota
yes.
Johnson makes sense now as that
Yes.
character. Okay.
Yeah. And because Christian Grey, I've actually read 50 Shades of Grey. Christian Grey is like Edward. Like he's supposed to be like domineering in the way that Edward is. And
But he's not
yeah.
a vampire.
No, it just has to do with like
Their dynamic.
their personality. So like there's a
Okay.
lot of like One Direction fan fiction. Have you ever heard of Wattpad?
No.
Okay.
I didn't
This
even
is
know
like
what fanfic was, Courtney.
yeah,
How
yeah,
am I
this
on
is a
any of
problem.
this?
Okay, so just to like explain it to you, like there used to be, I think Wattpad is still a thing, but it's like an app or like an internet website where people can just go on and like write fanfics of like whatever. But there's just like so much fan fiction out there of like Harry Potter, of One Direction, of like all this stuff. Have you ever heard of the movie called After?
I don't probably not know.
Oh my god, you should. It's a movie. There's actually two movies at least. Um, but that's a fan fiction of One Direction. But it's not even like about a band. It's just about like these college boys. And the whole idea is that like the characters are based off of like some sort of fandom that people have. And so like I just think it's hilarious that you thought Twilight was a fanfic.
I
As
just,
if
like, assumed.
yeah, but then what would fanfic even mean?
Well, I thought it was like Dracula and, like, that it was, like, her writing about it. Her, like, having this, like, wild fantasy about Count Dracula or something, I don't know.
No. No, I think she just made a vampire book. I don't think if you like pick a concept, that's like what a fanfic means. You know what I mean? Like you can have a vampire book if you want to have a vampire book. Um
Yeah.
yeah.
But
So,
anyway, so now I know what it is. I know that Twilight is not a fanfic, and now you all know.
yeah, so I did want to like in preparation for this, I looked up like what a fanfic actually means. I have a definition here. Fan fiction is fictional writing written in an amateur capacity by fans, unauthorized by, but based on an existing work of fiction. The author uses copyrighted characters, settings, or other intellectual properties from the original creators as the basis for their writing. So
Okay.
that's why like there's fanfics of Twilight and they use the characters, but like some of them are closer to the main characters, but some of them are like more abstract and obscure. Those are the better
Mhm.
ones. There's this
Those are
one
the better ones.
there's this one like One Direction fanfic that I read.
Uh-huh.
Um and the premise is that there's this lady who she's like late 30s, maybe 40, and she
Mhm.
has like a daughter who's like turning 18. So she had her daughter when she was also like 18. And she takes her daughter and her friends to get backstage passes of this like concert, and the main character, I forget his name, but he's basically like Harry Styles.
Yeah.
And so she's like a cougar and she like falls in love with Harry Styles, which is so funny because Harry Styles actually ended up being like with cougar women, like older women, you know? This is like, well, I think this was before that, but anyway, you should read it. Okay.
Moving on from that.
Yeah, we'll move on. So, one other thing we wanted to talk about is the book that came out a couple years ago that is basically Twilight from Edward's perspective, and it's called
Mhm.
Midnight Sun. Have you read it, Liz?
I have not. I read like when Stephanie Myers was first writing it, she released like the first couple of chapters. First couple
Mhm.
of chapters like on her website, and I read
Mhm.
that. But I never read like the full thing because remember she took a break from it because she got all upset because somebody leaked it or
Mhm.
something or whatever. So she took
That's
a
exactly
break
what
from
happened.
writing it, and I like lost interest. I was like, forget it.
Well, so somebody leaked it and she got mad, and so she posted it on her website. And so
The
that's
whole
how I
book?
read it. The
Or
whole
I
the
guess whatever she had written up to that point.
she wrote it up to the meadow scene, which is like the climax of Twilight, and then we just didn't get to read Edward's perspective of the meadow scene, and I was like devastated for 10 years, and then she finally published it.
Every time I hear someone talk about the meadow scene, I hear the like because that's like what's going on during their like montage, like
Mhm.
looking at each other.
Yeah, I hate the lullaby. But anyway, um I have read Midnight Sun. I rented it from the library a couple years ago, and it was very interesting. It was kind of weird being in Edward's head. He thinks really fast, and processes a lot of information. So it's like definitely different than reading it from Bella's perspective. But I wonder if they're going to like make it into a movie.
I feel like they already kind of did. Like we got a lot of perspectives in the movies.
Yeah. I feel like it's going to be a while before they remake the Twilight movies.
She has too released like some more books that are kind of like spin-offs for random characters in the
Mhm.
series.
Like the Bree Tanner book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which she got a lot of airtime in the movie too. But I think when I kind of go back to my earlier comment, like I think they're going to make an HBO series about Twilight
Like
one
they're
day.
doing with Harry Potter.
Yeah. Yeah, but it'll be like 10 years from now.
They should just like CGI the characters so that they could use the same people.
Maybe they could do the whole thing animated.
I would love that.
That would be awesome. Like anime vibes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
An anime
You heard it
of
here first.
Twilight
You
would
heard
be
it here first.
literally a dream because animes, like the emotions in them are so much like bigger than
Yeah.
life. And like that's how this book was. So I just feel like that would be like amazing. I think they
Yeah.
should do that. I
Yeah.
would watch it.
Stephanie Myers, you can steal that idea. We will let you have it.
Yes. So we get to reap the benefits. Okay. Liz, do you want to do trivia?
Yeah, let's do some trivia.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I have 5 trivia questions.
Oh, okay. You go first because I think I only have 4.
Okay. In the films, this is different from the books. In the films, the Cullens visibly distinguish themselves in what way?
Visibly what do you mean? They're like white.
They wear something in the
Oh.
films.
Oh, God. I didn't even notice this. Is it like a bracelet? A ring?
They wear the Cullen family crest.
Like somewhere on their person?
Yeah, some of them wear like a necklace. I think at one point, one of them's wearing, Jasper's wearing like a bolo tie that's got it on there.
That's so lame.
Yeah. But yeah, they
Is that
all
in
wear
New
the same
Moon?
crest. I don't know. They wear it throughout the whole series. They're all wearing.
That's so weird.
Yeah. It's like this little tiny detail that nobody even notices. Well, obviously people notice it, but like, thought went into that. Someone was like, should we do it? Should we not do it? Like, let's develop this crest and put it on all the characters and have them wear it in all these different ways. And it's like,
what a stupid waste of money. In my personal opinion.
okay.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you the quote, and they're from the movies, and I want you to tell me like which movie it came from.
Okay.
I have 3.
Okay.
Okay, the first one. You can't trust sorry. This is from Edward. You can't trust vampires. Trust me.
So I feel like this was like a joke. He was like trying to be like cute and make a little joke.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think about all of the times that Robert Pattinson did his cute little like thing that he does.
Yeah, because he's so cute.
I want to say eclipse.
It's new moon.
Okay, well,
I think it's like at the very beginning, like when they're kind of like reintroducing the series, and they're like walking through the halls of class and stuff. And you're like watching it and you're like, they're just openly talking about their vampire lives like in the halls of high school. Okay, next quote from Bella. I want to tie myself to you in every humanly way possible.
I think that one's eclipse, like at the end.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That was on a list of like the cheesiest quotes from Twilight.
She's like trying to jump his bones in the house and he's like, whoa, slow down. It's hard enough for me not to eat you on the reg. Like,
not to eat you on the reg. Okay, and then this one is Jacob. If you kill her, you kill me.
Oh, he's talking to the wolf pack, and I think it's Breaking Dawn Part 1.
Correct.
Woo!
Good job.
Okay. So, Stephanie Myers has written like a trove of books. Some in the Twilight universe, or most not in the Twilight universe. But how many does she have that are in the Twilight universe? How many has she written?
How many books in the Twilight universe? Okay, well, so here's the 4 books. She has Midnight Sun. She has the Bree Tanner book. And I'm just going to, like, for good measure, n equals 1. So I'm going to guess 7.
Yes.
Woo! What's the other one? Do you know?
She's got, like, a survival guide.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yeah. I think it came out, like, right after. Remember the, like, there's a movie about, like, something survival guide to the universe or something.
Oh, yeah.
It came out around that time.
Okay. Okay, my next question. Which actor or actress from the Twilight movie was the one responsible for getting Rob's songs added to the films? Because you know how
Rosalie.
Yeah, Nikki Reed.
Yeah, Nikki Reed.
Yeah, she took like secret recordings of Rob, like in between sets, like playing his guitar and singing, and then convinced
What's
the
wild is
director.
you can't find those anywhere. They're not.
I know.
I've
definitely looked before.
Maybe they're on like
childhood.
SoundCloud, but
they're probably in the depths of YouTube. That's where I would look for them. Yeah,
Robert Pattinson has like a secret profile on YouTube where all of his music lives.
I used to watch Ariana Grande back when she used to just like have a YouTube profile, and she would just post like impersonations.
Yeah,
like she would
that.
play like she would do like Disney music. Like I remember watching her sing like the Little Mermaid songs and like Aladdin songs.
Yeah.
Okay. Your turn.
Oh. How many days of filming did it take for them to complete Twilight? Well, for reference, the average feature-length film takes 106 days.
That's a good question. I'm trying to decide if it was like super short or super long, because I know they like film them like back to back to back. So I just feel like it would be really short. I feel like it's like 60 days.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
Okay, it's 44 days. It took them a month and a half.
Wow. That's crazy.
Mhm.
That's actually pretty close.
Yeah,
I should have gone shorter.
they did it really fast.
That's insane. I mean, that makes sense. They had to. They had to go fast.
Yep.
Okay, I think I have one last question.
Okay, I have 2 more. So
And then I have like a fun fact. I couldn't really figure out how to make it like a question because you would never get it. So originally, Stephanie Meyer wanted to call the first book in the Twilight series something completely different. Do you know what it was?
at one point in my life, I did know that.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in my brain, but right now it is lost. It has been filed away. So no, I do not know.
She wanted to call it Forks after the town.
Oh my god, I did know that.
Yeah, but
What
her
an
producers
idiot.
were like,
No.
or the publishers, they were like, nah, that's boring. Not the most
Think of
exciting
something
title.
better.
Yeah, yeah.
So, in the series, one of the Cullens is introduced first.
In the movies or the books?
Both. They kept the movies. They kept it this way in the movies because that's the way Stephanie Meyers intended it to be.
Stephanie Meyer. Her name is Stephanie Meyer.
It's Stephanie. I thought it was Stephanie Meyers.
No.
Okay, well, she gets an S at the end of her name from me.
Okay, hold on. Let me think about it. My initial thought is that it's Carlisle, but I need to think for a second. Because the other option is that it could be Alice. But I'm trying to remember like what scene he's first introduced. And why Bella would be going to the doctor so early in the series. And I feel like it's going to be Alice, but I feel like I need a 50-50 shot here. I'm going to guess Carlisle.
Final guess?
I feel like you did that last time and it was kind of wrong, so I think I'm going to guess Alice. Final answer.
Okay, well, both of those are wrong.
Who was it?
So the first time that the Cullens are introduced is when Jess is telling Bella about the Cullens at lunch.
Is it Rosalie?
And Rosalie comes in first.
Yeah, it came to me when you set the scene. And I already discarded my 2 top choices.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Okay, what's the other question?
Last question. What is Carlisle's physical age?
400
No. How old was he when he became a vampire?
Oh.
Like, how old physically is his body?
29.
No.
31.
No.
I don't know. Older, younger?
23.
Yeah, wow. That makes sense. Just be trying to be like a 35-year-old doctor. That's so unrealistic. He looks way older than that in the films. They should have cast him with someone different.
I thought Carlisle was cast pretty well.
I never liked Peter Facinelli. I hate that I say that because he's fine. Like, his demeanor is fine, but I just like never vibed with his look. I never thought he was attractive. I think that's why. And they're all supposed to be hot.
Who would they have cast in his place?
I don't know. I have no idea.
You can't propose a problem without a solution, Courtney.
James Franco.
What? He's not even blonde.
They could dye his hair blonde. I wouldn't be able to take him seriously, TBH. They could never do that. Okay, my fun fact.
Yeah.
So the names for the books have different names in different languages, and they're like completely different. So, for example, in Swedish, Twilight is called If I Could Dream. And then the Norwegian version is called The Kiss of Eternity. And in French, it's called Fascination. I don't really know why. Maybe like Twilight as a concept has like different meanings in different cultures because it's like a pretty significant time.
I think that her idea of like why she named it Twilight doesn't come across. Like I think it would be confusing to some people.
Yeah, like maybe it doesn't transfer.
So they just like renamed it to avoid that.
Well, they just
the kiss of eternity.
The kiss of eternity. Those Norwegians are intense. Instead of just
they didn't do it,
turning chapters in your life, they're like, this is the kiss of eternity.
She's stuck with it forever.
I guarantee you they asked like a Norwegian person in their publishing company to name it. Like I feel like they probably went to like the regions and like maybe not necessarily like every single country got it like a specific person, but I guarantee you they like reached out to like their Scandinavian people and were like, name all these books, please. We'll never know. I'll find out one day. Okay, that's all my questions and fun facts.
Wow.
We made it.
We did it.
We did it. Yay.
So
I think it's fun.
I hope you're excited for this season. Get ready because there's 5 fun-filled episodes coming at you with each of the Twilight Saga movies.
If you are also obsessed with the Twilight movies, we go in depth into every single one, and it is so much fun. So please tune in because you will have a ride.
Yes.
Okay, so if you want to find us, you can find us on all of our social media at Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We're at bcriticspodcast.
Yeah, and we'll be posting fun Twilight stuff the whole time. You get a whole 5 weeks of Twilight. Enjoy.
You're welcome.
Thanks again for checking us out. We'd appreciate it if you could leave us a rating or review depending on where you're watching. And if you really like what we're doing, be sure to subscribe and follow. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts.
And check out our website, bcritics.com, or find all of these links on our Linktree in the episode show notes.
That's it. Stay entertained out there.
Bye, guys.
Bye.